What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, and welcome to your weekly Nintendo Enthusiast Class vs. Craft podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Lapina, and joining me, the man down south, Sean Long, aka RGT85.
Hello.
How you feeling today, buddy? Wow.
I'm tired right now. I'm usually taking my Sunday nap.
Oh. So tonight,
That's okay.
it's not tonight. Today we're doing a bit of an early episode. Because I'm unavailable tonight. And there's a lot to talk about. We had a new ARMS Direct last week. We had some new Sonic stuff. There's all tons of little bits of information here leading up to E3, which is always an exciting time of the year. So if you are joining us for the first time, I'm expecting maybe some new viewers from the UK or somewhere in Europe, given the time zone. With the format of the show, it's usually a 1-hour podcast. And that's where we go over what we've been playing. Sean and I talk about what we've been playing over the last few weeks. And then we go over the major headlines, anything that's been making the Nintendo news. And we cap it all off with a lightning round. That's where we take your user topics and questions for the last 15 minutes of the show. Before we get started today, trying something new out here with everybody. I hope it's legible. But up top, if you look at the, if you are watching us, there's a new community message area there, and I really hope you can read it. But basically, a member of our community. Oh, you can read it? Okay, so this is from Reverend Friars. Just a quick shout out to him. He is looking to sell his Wii U, and I've listed everything he has available. It's a white Wii U, the basic model, 8 gigs, but he's throwing in an external hard drive. He has a ton of physical games, digital games, virtual console games. The whole list is there. If you're interested in and the guys in the US, if you're interested in picking that up for yourself, you can either get in touch with them directly if you know them, or you can get in touch with Sean or I, and we will put you guys in touch. And if you want to put your own message up on this podcast in the future, just let us know. This is something you will try to make better use of our real estate around here. All right, so let's get started, Sean, with what you've been playing.
A lot of Ultra Street Fighter 2. A lot of it, and Mario Kart, and Fire Emblem. Forgot about Fire Emblem Echoes. A lot of stuff, actually. Lots of stuff.
Yeah, isn't it a wild time?
It's weird having games to play as opposed to what we had on the Wii U.
Not just games, but the frequency of games too, right?
So, yeah, and they're good games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of them are a little outdated, like the one you've been playing for last week.
I mean, do you own a 3DS?
I do.
Did you buy The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D?
I haven't.
Did you buy Majora's Mask?
I have.
Okay, same thing.
But
what's the point?
It's remastered.
So is this.
It's not, though.
It is. All they did in the remaster was make the graphics look a little better. They didn't add anything to the game.
I mean, it's a big overhaul, though, of the graphics. Here...
But it's just graphics. It's just purely visual.
Okay.
It doesn't change the game itself.
Right. Okay, I'm not saying Street Fighter 2 is a bad game, but I'm saying... when's the embargo for that live? Are we allowed to discuss Street Fighter?
I mean, preview times are fine.
Okay,
we're still in the preview stage.
I know you have a show on your channel. Is it worth it? And I know you're gonna fanboy over Street Fighter, but is it really worth it? Like, this game has come out on so many systems so many times, and literally the only new thing that you have here on the Switch is 2 new characters and a new mode. Correct?
And color edit, and an art book, and a rebalanced game. And
hang on. So they actually changed the balance of the game? That's big.
Yeah, there's a new breaker. I haven't really explored it fully because I don't have anyone to play with. But there's a new breaker. I think it's a combo breaker. I'm not 100% sure, but we were talking about it last night over on Spawn Wave's channel. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been in a situation where I've used that yet. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm talking from a person who is not into the Street Fighter scene like you are, but you are getting your money's worth. You're very happy with what they've done here.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's it's just like Ocarina of Time 3D on the 3DS, because that was an old game that was re-released with better graphics, and it's the best, arguably one of the best games in its genre. This is updated with new or old graphics, and it is arguably one of the best games in its genre. So I mean, if you're not a fighting fan, I don't think this will persuade you to to join the world of competitive 2D fighters. But if you are, like, it's a no brainer. And plus the okay, Jaden. Plus the single Joy-Con works surprisingly well. Like, I didn't play on the highest difficulty with that. I played it on, I think, the second or third highest difficulty, and I was still able to win, a vast majority of my matches just using a single Joy-Con, which was really weird. But yeah,
Wait, what? You play with just the one? Or I guess
I
you
just
tried
tried
it?
it
Yeah.
just to see what. Yeah, I wanted to see, if it was functional, because in my mind, no, it's not going to be functional. But I mean, it totally was. It totally was. Like, it's definitely something, if you're at a bar or something, and you bust out your Switch, and someone wants to play. I mean, it essentially, a thing that they need to kind of do with the Switch, I think, is almost like market it as like a portable arcade. Like, I would like to see a lot of arcade collections come out on the Switch, because you have those two Joy-Cons. You technically have like a mini arcade wherever you go.
Yeah.
And that's one of the feelings like that game sort of offers.
Hmm. Now, I'm surprised we've never really talked about this, but I know you've tried a lot of the Neo Geo 2D fighter games. Um, and you're saying Street Fighter 2 is one of the best of its genre. Uh, so what makes, and this could be a stupid question, but what makes Street Fighter 2 better than, say, the Samurai Showdowns or the other Neo Geo fighters?
Well, every Neo Geo fighter is actually very different from one another. I mean, on the surface, you see it's a 2D fighting game, so you're like, oh, it's a 2D fighting game. But there's a lot more to it than that. A game like Samurai Showdown is a weapons-based fighter, which is a hell of a lot slower than a game like, I would say, if you're comparing apples to apples, you would have to look at King of Fighters as probably the closest thing to Street Fighter. But I mean, it's just different mechanics, different. It could be something as, switching planes. Some of the Neo Geo fighters have you switching planes. Some of you, and then of course it boils down to characters as well. I mean, you look at a game like Samurai Showdown. If you want to go back to that, every character is very, well, I wouldn't say every character, but there's a lot of characters that are very different. Big people that move slow, small people that move fast but don't attack as strong, middle ground people. So I mean, it's fun to learn how to play with all the characters and learn sort of the intricacies of the fighting games. And that is why, taking it a step further, that is why the old Mortal Kombat games nobody cares about, because those old Mortal Kombat games didn't have that. Old Mortal Kombat games are played today by people because of the digitized graphics and the fatalities. The actual fighting mechanics, in Mortal Kombat are just terrible compared to a game like Street Fighter, a game like King of Fighters, a game like Fatal Fury, Aggressors of Dark Combat, like anything like that. It's so crazy.
I remember as a kid, we had two fighting games. We had Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Sega Genesis, and we had Mortal Kombat 2. And for some reason, I don't know why, I gravitated to Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat, and I always wanted to play that. And my brother, who was 6 years older than me, Street Fighter 2 was his game, and he always wanted to play Street Fighter. And I just remember every time we played Mortal Kombat, he hated it because I would just do just spam like the same move, and you just like go back and forth, and there was just no way to block it. So
Yeah, I mean, that's,
yeah, it was a cheap game in hindsight.
but at the time it was digitized graphics,
Yeah.
and bloody and fatalities and all these crazy characters and stuff. So it's definitely a product of the time. Whereas Street Fighter 2 ended up becoming timeless.
Right. Now, I remember you were a big fan of Street Fighter 4 on the 3DS. Would you want that one or even 5 ported to the Switch? Do they offer anything that's really worthwhile?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're just even every iteration of Street Fighter 2, you look at, if you want to get into the arcade versions, like, good Lord, there's so many. But just look at the Super Nintendo ones, from Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter 2 Turbo to Super Street Fighter 2. Every one of those games is balanced differently. Every one of those games, the core mechanics are the same, but if you really want to get good at the game and excel in it and be able to, play at a decent level, you have to relearn things. There's different speed, there's different everything. So, I would play them. Street Fighter 5, I've actually haven't really played much of because I was so pissed off that they released a $60 game that did not feature an arcade mode, which, for the record, Ultra Street Fighter 2 does have an arcade mode. I don't know why I have to say that for a fighting game in 2017, but yes, there is an arcade mode.
I just realized.
But yeah,
a lot of your thoughts would be very welcomed on that other site, onlysp.com, only single player.
Oh, really?
Because you play a lot of single player stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say a good bit.
So do
I. But yeah, I had a blast with Street Fighter 4 3DS or Super Street Fighter 4 3DS edition. But yeah, Street Fighter 5 will probably never happen though, because Sony heavily funded that for consoles, and they didn't really. That was bad in hindsight because it didn't really sell all that great.
Now another game. Well, back on what we've been playing. So I know you've played a lot. It's given you've reviewed it. I can't talk today. You've reviewed it. Fire Emblem Echoes, which is a game I've been playing. So that's another one that we can talk about. That's out now, right? It came out last Friday.
Yeah, that's out.
Yeah. So great. We can talk about it. I've only played through chapter 1 so far. Started chapter 2. I know you got a lot further than I did, but amazing game. I'm really, really. I'm actually surprised that there are negative comments on the Nintendo Enthusiast review of that game, and people are saying it's worse than Fate. And like some of the cons are like, oh, you can't marry your character and stuff, which I like. Maybe some people play Fire Emblem for that, but for me, Echoes is just. It's the full package. Like, you're getting everything. I remember in Fates, they used to have sound bites for every line, but you wouldn't have the full voice actor reading the whole thing. And now in Echoes, every piece of dialogue has voice acting in it. And I thought that was a limitation of the 3DS back in Fate. So just from a technological point of view, I'm really impressed that that this fits on a cart. I don't know if 3DS cartridges are made bigger now or what. But that aside, I actually skip a lot of the text. Just fun, like really fun. The world map, moving about. It's only my second Fire Emblem game so far, but it's my favorite.
I've played them. One of the things I've noticed that people are complaining about is the art style,
which I don't understand.
Which like, it looks like a Fire Emblem game to me, and maybe it's a little more anime style, but
I don't know.
I don't really get that comment either. In my opinion, as someone who has played the ones on the Game Boy Advance, the ones on the GameCube, the one on the Wii, the one on the DS, and the one I didn't play the Fates game. I played Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS when that came out. This is the best Fire Emblem game. It's the Fire Emblem game I've enjoyed the most, and I am a fan of strategy RPG games. Shining Force 3 on the Saturn is my jam. So, I've seen so many just strange reviews. It seems like me and Coop Man were like on the same wavelength with this game, and like everyone else that reviewed it was just like on another planet. Like, it's very weird to see. It's almost like have you played a previous Fire Emblem game? What are you basing your review on? Like what you think it should be, or how the series has progressed, and how it's a remake of a game. They introduced new 3D dungeons. They introduced tons of presentation, and it's still that classic Fire Emblem gameplay that works. And I don't know, very, very strange how a lot of people reviewed it, but I fully stand behind my review, and I defy anyone to debate me on it, because you're wrong. Like, very, very strange. I was very surprised when I was told by Brett that my review was one of the higher ones.
Is it really?
I mean, right now on Metacritic, it's sitting at an 82, which is ridiculous. There's one site, Vooks, gave it a perfect score. Nintendo Enthusiast 9.5, Gaming Nexus 9.5, a bunch of 9s. Koopman gave it a 9.
Mastering the art of
3D Juegos RPG site, and then like you scroll down, and then you have Polygon with a 6.5.
Yeah,
what?
That's the one I saw that I just didn't understand.
Here's Game Informer. The brutal and dull difficulty and large amounts of necessary grinding. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Unnecessary grinding. How is this? Isn't Fire Emblem
brutal difficulty? I want an explanation on that. If anything, I thought it was a bit on the easy side for a Fire Emblem game, and that's with permadeath on.
You were playing with permadeath?
Oh yeah, I'm playing it for real.
Hardcore. Did you lose anybody?
Yeah, and no, because I would turn off the game in disgust and get so mad and just lose all this progress. And
my second fight, I lose the cleric. I don't play with permadeath because I'm a Fire Emblem noob, and I know that I would lose everybody. I was just like, oh my god, and I would do what you're doing. I just like reset the whole thing. So I'm like, if I'm not gonna play properly, why even bother turning it on?
And in Koopman's review, the game felt somewhat on the easier side. So who am I going to trust? The guy that's been covering Nintendo stuff for years, or some random schmuck from Polygon? Like, get out of here. Jesus Christ. This gets crazy to me.
It is crazy. Any other games you played you wanted to touch up on? I think those are the big two, Street Fighter and Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and just random Mario Kart, of course. I'm still enjoying that immensely. The battle mode. I haven't done. I may have done like 3 races. Yeah, maybe.
I haven't done any. No way, I've done.
I could care.
One. Yeah.
I could care less. Just like, okay, let's play battle mode. This is where my fun is.
For sure, yeah. We had the Switch at the office last week, but our CEO, he didn't bring the I call them the girth enhancers. So you had to like dig your fingers into the Joy-Cons to like get the L and R button to work. Luckily, I had mine, so I pulled them out after I realized I had them. But have you tried playing on a Joy-Con without the sliding attachments? It's almost impossible.
Funny story. My sliding attachments are inside of the box, and I've never used them.
But how do you
never use them? Man, you get it done. You get it done. You just got, when you position your fingers right. When you position your fingers right, it works. It's not ideal. God, no, it's not ideal. But yeah, I played some Mario Kart with this kid at work who's been wanting a Switch forever. He actually just got a Switch today because Best Buy's had them in store. I brought my Switch to work on a day that I was working like a short shift, and it was a slow day. And he wanted to try out the battle mode, so we did a round, and I whipped his ass. But yeah, I mean it works.
Is this true? Polygon couldn't review Neo because they couldn't get past the tutorial. If that is true, that is ridiculous.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Wow. All right. Speaking of fighting games, how about we segue right into ARMS? We had a nice ARMS Direct. The last time we talked about on this podcast, Both of us we're sharing already quite a bit of excitement for the game. I think we're both looking at picking it up at launch. And how do you feel now after that direct? Are you more excited, less excited, same wavelength? Anything catch your eye?
I would I would say more excited because I really like the mini games. I think those are going to be ridiculously fun.
I think they're going to be
Um,
hard. Like I was seeing some of these dudes, they're bouncing around, stretching, grabbing, and then doing like a backflip and dunking the person in the basketball net. I'm just like, is this like kind of an auto-generated cinematic, or are people actually like coordinating this that precisely? And how difficult is it to do?
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I was talking with the last night. I was on the Spawn Wave podcast. Thank you for having me on, by the way. And they said that they're because I guess they've played it somewhat recently.
Hmm.
They said that their whole thing, or at least two of them did, what they took away was it's like a game that you would think you would just want to do standard controls, but once you do motion controls, it's like you can't imagine playing without it. So I think that'll be interesting because personally, I don't want to use motion controls with it. I would rather use my little docked Joy-Cons. And by the way, I didn't mention this when I was talking about Ultra Street Fighter 2, but yes, that stupid, weird looking dog face controller somehow is perfect for the game. The D-pad is perfect. I was sitting there like, man, it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. I'm not going to be able to do a single thing, but it works. I have no use for a pro controller. No use. Thing is marvelous. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to try the motion controls, but I would rather get good at the game with the standard.
So we got Knifel saying, according to Game Explain, that basketball game is automated. So probably that part where you dunk, you probably just need to grab them and push a button and you dunk them automatically. So it doesn't require that high level precision.
Right. Yeah.
Um, what were you saying? Arms, are we excited for it? I'm actually more intimidated by the game now more than ever. Uh, I come from not being into fighting games, right? And so I don't really grasp like the mechanics and the depth of a game like Street Fighter. I don't grasp it, and that's why you're going to destroy me when we're going to play this game next week on the show. But I'm still going to badmouth you in the hope that luck will be on my side and somehow I wing it. So seeing the absolute depth of this game has that like the stages the stages have strategies to them. The character you pick has a unique feature to them. They each have three arm combinations to choose from, and I think that you can then unlock more arms for them for each arm. So like there's a point in the direct where they're showing the potential combinations, and they're just ramping it up, saying it's almost endless. It's over 10,000 or something. Can't believe I didn't say it's over 9,000 there, but like it's just oh man, for anyone who's into competitive gaming, I'd assume that you guys are salivating over this, but I'm just like, wow, how am I going to ever be able to play this game respectively? Like right now, I'm just trying to get competitive in Hearthstone, which is a card game that you take your time and it's strategic. And I'm just starting to make progress. And like a fighting game where you have to like think on the fly and that there's all these different matchups and combinations, I'm excited for it, but also intimidated by it.
Well, it's because you play games like Hearthstone.
Have you tried Hearthstone, sir?
I don't play card games, sir. I play video games. If I want to play a card game, I will play War.
What's War?
It's where you take a deck of cards and you shuffle them up, and then like half the deck goes to you,
those are boring.
and half the deck goes to the. Shut up. You're going to ask a question, and then I'm going to explain it. And then half the other one goes to the other person, and then you flip the card. And then if your card is higher than the other person's card, you get it. And then if you flip the same card, you go to war.
I played that. I just got a vision of you when you're going to be in the retirement home at 60 or 70 or probably 50, I don't know. And so you're gonna like
35.
So you're gonna be talking slower, and like people are gonna ask you stuff and regret it instantly. And you're gonna be like, "No, you asked me a question. I listened for the answer." And I was like, and it's funny because oh my god, you just reminded me. There's a guy when I got out of school, my first job, there was a mentor, a guy that I had to work with he should have been retired, in my opinion. The guy moved like a turtle and spoke like one too, but I always had to go to him to ask questions on how to do my job. And I'd always regret it. I could ask something like, "Oh, do you see it's raining out?" Like, it could be so basic, and he'd just like turn his head slowly. He'd actually like you would see the blinking action happen, and then almost like a sloth. He was like a sloth, and then it was like long-winded, and then you'd think he's done, and you'd walk away, and he's just taking a breath, and there was another sentence coming. Oh, I had to work with that guy for a year. It scarred me.
That sounds terrible.
It is terrible. I see you in that role. But yeah, ARMS. Oh, and also I like that they're. Let's talk more about this. So I like that they're doing almost the Splatoon approach, where you're going to get a lot more free content unlocked down the road. A pretty solid lineup. I think we're at 10 characters at launch, which is great.
Yeah.
And another thing regarding motion control, you were saying these spawn rate guys were saying that once you go motion controls, you can't imagine playing without it. I have never really missed motion controls as much as I did last week. I was playing a space sim on my PC, and I'm using my Xbox controller to control my ship. And to target, you have to move like the two joysticks, just like any shooting game. But like I kept wanting to just, you just want to nudge like the crosshairs a little bit, and I'm so used to playing on a Nintendo platform where you're allowed to do that just by moving the controller, and you have so much more control over that. And I'm just surprised that these other companies are embracing motion controls in that sense, because it really works there. And I was really having I wasn't enjoying the game as much because I couldn't do precise controls with motion controls.
Precise.
I can't speak today, I'm telling you.
No, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of instances where I'm like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently miserable with my PlayStation 4.
You?
Yeah, the control. No, the controller dies every.
Oh my god!
Every
yeah,
5
the battery
seconds.
goes off like crazy. I just plugged my PS4 back in for the first time in a few months yesterday, because I move things around. And so I usually, if I'm having dinner with people, I like to eat in front of the TV, right? So we got a pizza. We sit down. I turn on the PlayStation to watch Netflix because the Wii wasn't working for some reason. And I swear, our whole meal was spent watching download progress bars and install progress bars. It took like freaking 15 minutes so the PS4 had a system update it had to run. Then Netflix had to update itself, reinstall. So by the time we actually got to a show, the whole pizza was done.
That's a travesty.
It's terrible.
I just don't like it. Like, I'll put on an old wrestling pay-per-view, and I'll take a nap. And I know the pay-per-view is a max of 3 hours long. And when I wake up, the controller's dead. And I'm like, how is this dead? It didn't do anything. It sat there. Yeah. It wasn't even in use.
Yeah. Well, they got to keep that LED lit up in the front. I really don't know what they're doing.
Every time I go to play the stupid thing, the controller's dead.
Mm-hmm. Same here. I got 2 different ones, too. Any other comments on ARMS? Thoughts?
I want it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to play the test fire or whatever, the test punch.
Oh, yeah, that's next weekend, right?
Yes.
We should stream that, as well as some Street Fighter. We'll have maybe we'll do like a 3 to 4 hour Switch stream where we just play competitive games. Man, the Switch is gonna have such an awesome lineup if you're a competitive player. You're gonna have your Splatoon, you've got Mario Kart, ARMS, like all within the next. Do we have Splatoon? Does that have a release date? Is it July?
July.
July, right?
Yep.
It's crazy, man.
It is.
The speed that things are coming out is crazy.
They're trying to move the system.
Yeah. So on another topic, have you seen what Sonic's up to these days?
Jesus Christ! They've ruined the game before showing the game.
How?
I've never seen a game. You know how? I have never seen a game get ruined before anything is really revealed. Anything concrete. It's just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
seriously,
It's ruined. It's ruined because you're going to go online and you're going to see all these godforsaken Sonic OC characters from all these weirdos. I don't care. They're weirdos doing the Sonic like love fan fiction erotica. And it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you people? It's ruined.
Yeah, that
Give
angle.
me Sonic Mania.
Yeah, that's right. We are getting Sonic Mania with. Did you see the Knuckles gameplay now? That was released too.
Yes.
It looks solid. It looks just like the old Sonic games. Um, to give Sonic Force Sonic Forced a chance or a good thing.
I mean, I'm going to give it
the game. Of course,
obviously.
this might be the Sonic game I get since Sonic Generations, and Sonic Generations was good. It was okay. It was the better one. The custom character thing, zero appeal to me on that. But I have to admit that all the mechanics that they're adding into it and these gadgets, that looks fun. It actually does look fun to play. But
yeah, I mean, it looks the Sonic community is a very strange community because they are the most forgiving people in the world. Like, there have been countless terrible Sonic games lately, within the past decade.
I just
but they're always like,
yeah,
the next one's going to be the one. The next one's going to be great. Like, imagine any other franchise. Imagine any other franchise that had so many issues throughout the past 10 years plus that would get so many second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances. Yeah. Like, I don't understand. I can't get excited for a mainline Sonic game. Sonic Mania is going to be good because it's based on the principles of what made Sonic good. First and foremost, let's be honest. Sonic games were good. I don't think Sonic games were ever great. Maybe Sonic 2 was great. But Sonic games were always more about technology, I feel, rather than core mechanics. I mean, Sonic Adventure is another game that I feel is very good. But once again, that was basically because of the technology. You hadn't really seen a game like that. And then since then, I thought Generations on the 3DS was pretty good. Sonic Colors was actually pretty good on the Wii. But there's just been so many missteps. And I can't help but feel like we might see that again with Forces. As much as I don't want to admit it, I don't know. It's interesting.
I've given up on Sonic. I think I've come to accept that the reason it was iconic is because of marketing success more than anything. Like, you play Super Mario World today, it's a good game. Like, it's solid mechanics, it's fun and stuff. I don't think you can say the same about a Sonic game. Even though it plays well and you've got the nostalgia factor, there's just so many different good games. And you look at any, they've tried so much with. I think the thing that might work best for Sonic is probably pinball, Sonic Spinball. That is a great game, right? And it works well to Sonic. But for what it's trying to do, I just don't see I don't even know how I had fun with it as a kid, because it's a 2D platformer that moves so fast that you're actually not. And feel free to say if you agree or disagree with me here. You can't actually see the dangers coming like other 2D games. So you're running, and then it's all about playing the levels over and over again until you actually learn where the pitfalls are and where the dangers are, and then you get better at it through trial and error. And to me, that's not good game design.
You're not wrong. I think Sonic CD is a criminally underrated game. But one of the problems with Sonic games originally were the fact that you had two trains of thought. You had Sega of Japan and Sega of America. That's how you ended up with Sonic CD, because that was actually a Sega of Japan game, as opposed to a Sega of America game. Sonic is, I'm not saying I hate Sonic games. Like, I obviously love Sonic 2. I love some of the spin-off games. Knuckles Chaotic, I thought, was a great game. I love Sonic Adventure, but it just seems to me like I don't know. Like, I almost think to myself, would we even be talking about Sonic in 2017 if they released a dud of a Sonic game on the Sega Saturn? Would that have killed Sonic's character? I like to think about that because you never got one. And the next one you got was Adventure, which was such a big, you know, such a big transformation from the previous Sonic games. Plus, it was on new hardware. The Dreamcast, when it came out, nothing else until the PlayStation 2. Nothing else could touch those sort of graphics and, sense of speed and uniqueness or whatever. But what if it had came out on the Saturn when you had the PlayStation in its prime and you had a bunch of 2D and 3D platforming games? Would it have been the same thing? It's very interesting to think about, and I may do a video on this now that I come to think of it.
People are saying my mic is bad. Do you hear that?
It sounds fine to me, but let me listen to you on the video.
Wow, talking. Mic check 1 2. I just realized the sensitivity of this one is kind of high, so I don't know if that's it.
I don't know. It sounds a little crappy, but that's okay. I can still hear you. Ah. It hasn't caught up yet. Oh, now I can't hear you at all on the video.
Okay, so that needs to stand check. All right, so I'm gonna have to troubleshoot that some other time. This is what happens, right? You spend a lot of money on equipment, and you're like, "Oh, I've got the best equipment around," and then it sounds worse than the guy who pays like $20 for his headset.
24 on Amazon. I have no clue what the brand is.
I hate myself so much. All right, you want to do lightning round now? Any other topics
Yeah,
for Nintendo to talk about?
Not really. Oh. Mario Kart MPD. That's pretty crazy.
What is it? I didn't see that one.
It was the highest selling game, and they didn't even factor in digital sales because it was only on the market for, I think, a day or max of 2 because it came out 28th. And I think MPD ends on the 29th.
Yeah. I'm just seeing some stuff here. Minecraft seems to be getting a lot of good news lately. ARMS to be 1080p, 60 frames per second docked in single player mode. Disgaea 5 is something we haven't really talked about, which came out in Europe 2 days ago.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
I haven't. Yeah, there's a demo actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not. I probably won't be picking that game up, but are you?
I kind of want to. I might wait for a price drop on it though.
Yeah.
I have enough to play right now.
Oh, here's one that you might be worth discussing. AVGN 2 not coming to consoles.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I know those people over at Freak Zone Games, so I was pretty disappointed in that. I thought the first game was really good, but I guess they didn't make any money on it.
I thought it was very bland. The first one.
Okay.
Like a 7.
I mean, no.
A 7 out of 10. It's a good game.
Yeah, I'd give it a little higher than that. What was bad about it? The graphics were good. The music was amazing.
What was good about it?
The style was good.
What was good about it?
I'm giving you examples. The graphics were nice.
Yeah.
The music was amazing. The level design was good and challenging. The humor was on point. It was excellent for fans of the source material. I don't really know what it did wrong.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It is excellent for fans of the source material, and I think that's what carried the game. But if you, and I don't know, if you aren't big into AVGN or or you look past that, I just feel the game is it has nothing really special in terms of the controls, like the feel, the gameplay of what it feels, how to play. Like, yeah, it's a hard game, which is fair, but like so is Electronic Superjoy. That's a hard game, but I just feel the mechanics are tighter, and it's more fun that when you die, you just go right back into it. Whereas this one here, I didn't feel like it was fun to die, even though you're expected to die a lot because it's hard, it's challenging.
Well, it should
So
never be fun to die.
no, but there's some games where it's like, all right, you're right back into the game. You're like, okay, I want to try again. You're It's not fun
There's
to die,
checkpoints.
but it's not like, I don't know. I feel the game was a little hollow. And look at the trailer. Oh, it's only coming to PC though, right? I feel that the second
What?
one has a lot of room to grow and be good. Um, so they're just not porting. I'm just reading the news story right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you score it? Did you score it? Did you do the official review for it?
I am pretty damn sure I did, but I'm not 100%.
Hmm.
But we're going to look.
If it's 7, I'm gonna be laughing so hard.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It's a good game. It's much better than a 7, sir. I want to say I gave it an 8.
Okay. Maybe I'm just harsh with my 2D platformers. I don't know. Because I gave.
Oh, actually, I didn't review it.
No?
Giancarlo did.
Who's that?
Giancarlo Bellato.
What? Oh, him.
What?
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never heard his name said out loud.
He also did Freedom Planet. He was the 2D guy, man. He was
Oh.
the 2D guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I
I'm
wonder
just
whatever
more
happened to
harsh.
him. He kind of just disappeared.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Uh,
Lightning round. Let's go.
Oh gosh, who are you gonna main first in arms? I haven't even thought about it.
I really wanted to go for Min Min because I really like her as a character, but she doesn't look like my style in terms of mechanics. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to try them. Definitely not Mummy. The heavy style isn't my style. Might go with the Ninja. Ninja looks cool.
What will the headlines? What will be the headlines after E3? Microsoft is stupid. Sony likes too much VR and showed a bunch of games that are going to come out in 2019. And Nintendo showed some games. I don't know.
You're gonna have the Nintendo site saying best Nintendo E3 in years, and then you're gonna have why Nintendo from all the other mainstream sites why Nintendo doesn't understand modern times or.
And I mean, realistically, they're all going to blow the Scorpio like it's the second coming of Christ, even though it's the most pointless system.
Actually, if Nintendo, yeah,
go on.
If Nintendo does announce their online platform and all that, I can't. I'm only going to expect very negative critical articles just destroying it.
Oh yeah,
from
of course,
everybody.
And they will.
Yeah.
No, I think they will.
Yeah.
Show it. What kind of game do you think Animal Crossing Mobile will be? That's interesting. I would assume it would just be like an Animal Crossing light experience. I haven't really thought about that.
I would assume it's kind of like a village sim game where you have your village, you check in, you build businesses, you get money, then you have to wait a few hours for it to recharge or something. Hey, Ketchum, thank you for the donation, man.
Have you played Minecraft on the Switch? I have not.
I haven't,
Jason.
I haven't yet. No.
What Wii U games must Nintendo bring to the Switch versus a sequel? Honestly, I don't think any Wii U games are needed. I think we're I don't know because you got to think a lot of Wii U games use the touchpad, and you would have to rework the whole thing to make it work. A game like Mario Kart obviously didn't rely on that, but there's a lot of games that do. So I feel like I feel like it would just be a waste of time and resources. You might as well just start looking towards more future projects.
I wonder if we're going to see Nintendo. I'm sorry, what? I was spacing.
No, go ahead.
I wonder if we're going to see Nintendo reveal some kind of esports thing. Like esports is a big buzzword, whether you like it or not. And Nintendo has a very strong lineup of games early into the Switch's life cycle to play to esports. So I wonder if we're going to see some kind of announcement, something. I say something because Nintendo always comes up left field and they're very hard to predict. So I'm just wondering if they're going to throw something into the esports scene besides just the game, like a new platform or a new way to play or to compete or something.
Okay. Zelda Mobile, will it be card based? How do you think they're going to make a Zelda mobile game? I don't think they should. It seems kind of silly to me to make a mobile Zelda game. If they do, I would assume it would be something like a Link Between Worlds in terms of graphics, and maybe, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to think about. What do you think of the new Harvest Moon game that was announced for the Switch, PS4, and Steam? Very cool. Keeping an eye on it. Harvest Moon games are deceptively fun. I would never want to be a real farmer, but I do like acting like a farmer. Nintendo of Japan and Europe announced a Splatoon bundle on the ARMS Direct. Do you think Nintendo of America will release one as well, or do you think they'll wait till E3 to announce it? I don't know. You got to remember the Wii U actually got a lot more bundles in Japan and Europe than North America did. So, and since they all sort of operate under their own entity, I wouldn't be surprised if the first bundle ends up being with Mario Odyssey instead of Splatoon. If Nintendo had to announce a single port of a Wii U title to the Switch at E3, what would you pick? I would pick Xenoblade.
Really?
And do like a dual pack with the new. No, I wouldn't pick Xenoblade. Well, maybe I would pick Xenoblade. I would like to see what the added, horsepower of the system could do for that game in terms of pop up and loading and whatnot.
That's a game I wouldn't mind playing on the go either.
Would you like to see Conduit 3 and Red Steel 3 on the Switch? Conduit 3 will never happen because High Voltage just does VR stuff now, which is a shame. And I would like to see it, but I would like to see it in the style of the first game, not the second game. The first game I thought was better because it was rooted more in reality, where they just went kind of crazy with the Conduit 2. Same thing with Red Steel. As much as the Red Steel 2 was a better game, I liked the atmosphere of Red Steel 1 a lot more. So I would like to see, if they were to do that, I would like to see a return to the more realistic style as opposed to the heavily animated style that they did with that. But I also feel like Red Steel kind of has a mark of shame on it from the original game, from people being disappointed.
I bought Red Steel 2 to get the Wii Motion Plus, and I never played more than 10 minutes of it.
It was a fun game, but I just liked the style and pacing of the first game more because, it was a lot grittier and darker and more interesting. It honestly isn't a terrible game, especially now that it's, $2, $3, $4, $5.
I would I would port Smash. I wouldn't pick it up, but I think from a business standpoint, it would make more sense. Like, you don't need to make a new Smash games. You just...
Yeah, you really don't.
Smash Wii U, just port that. And then port Paper Mario Color Splash and revamp the battle system. Just get rid of those cards.
As long as they include... I'm not even going to do it. Never mind. I know you were going for. Did you guys already talk about Sega bringing back their old IPs? It's more of a see it to believe it thing. You can announce all the fancy names you want. I'm not going to believe you until you actually show me something. So, Metroid Trilogy Remaster on the Switch shown at E3. Do you guys think? Probably not. If they're going to show a Metroid, I feel it's going to be a new one. Yeah.
Someone's asking, so Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 or just Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse? Porting to the Switch, is it a welcome add-on or not? As a Dragon Ball fan, I would play it if they bring it to me at a price drop. Like, you're a year late. Help me out here. Get me into this. Get me into the series at a discounted rate, even if it's $10-20.
I could care less.
It's a welcome add-on.
Which EA multi-platform game do you think is coming to the Switch first? Madden or Battlefield? Madden, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Madden at E3 this year for the Switch.
Zombie port for Switch? Nah. I wouldn't. Are zombies still popular? Or are people tired of talking about zombies? I feel zombie games aren't selling anymore.
If you're a Sony fan, you love them because of that.
Oh,
what was that stupid? The knockoff Last of Us in an open world, which is what The Last of Us should have been.
Yeah, but the zombies run in this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's what The Last of Us should have been, and it even looks like this has the same. God, whatever.
Sir, The Last of Us is about the story and the experience.
The story was okay.
I'm mocking. Come on, you know me.
A little
Last
girl
of Us isn't a 10 out of 10 for me.
A little girl who could shoot a gun better than a army marksman, but throw around some water and yeah. Zombie Switch. Naruto Clash of Ninja games return once again. Could care less.
Yeah, it'd be good. I wouldn't get it. I never got into it, but they're fighting games. Right? I don't get into those. I feel the Switch has a ton of has so much fighting games already. It's kind of getting saturated.
No, I want more. 2D only. Switch needs more horror games. Resident Evil 7 would be dope. You know, that Resident Evil 7 rumor has actually recirculated. And they were talking about it last night on the Spawn Wave cast, almost to the point of where they almost expect like a version with all the DLC to be announced for the Switch. Because supposedly Capcom told Nintendo to make the Switch powerful enough to run the Resident Evil 7 engine. And that's what ended up happening. Like, a lot of people claim that to be factually true. So if we see Resident Evil 7 with all the DLC, I wouldn't be super surprised, and I would give credence to that rumor. But I feel if you don't see it, then I think that story was BS.
Just remember another fighting game coming to the Switch, Pocket Rumble. When's that coming out?
It should have already been out, man.
Yeah, right. TBD. I think they went into to dev limbo there, to launch limbo.
Will Final Fight ever come back? Probably not. Should. It's tough with those style of games because who's gonna pay, a premium price for a 2D beat 'em up? Like, it has to be a budget game.
Ooh, Fatal Frame for the Switch. That could work pretty well.
Yeah, but I think they're still upset. Yeah, they're still a little upset at the other one. But you released it digitally only.
On a console that couldn't support it digitally.
Yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom, maybe, because it's Unreal Engine 4. I mean, they could port it. Wish Injustice 2 or Tekken 7 would come to Switch. There was rumors of Tekken 7.
Mm-hmm. I asked Bandai when I was at PAX. I was like, oh, Switch for Tekken 7, and they're like, their response was, it took us so long to get here in development that the Switch is too new, so it doesn't even sound like they've started considering it. At least the guy I spoke to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hold your breath on it, basically.
Right. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. Jeez, what more do you need other than Kirby?
I don't think. Maybe a couple more characters and free DLC, maybe. But I don't really think you need any more.
You don't need any more. It would be fun. It would work. Like if you had a Kirby, you just add a few more franchises into it because why not? You've got Animal Crossing, you've got Zelda, you've got Splatoon. Throw in Donkey Kong.
That's Sonic. That's what Sega's been teasing. Sonic is coming to Mario Kart.
Please don't add Sonic.
We're adding them in.
What other franchises would you add to Mario Kart other than Kirby?
Sonic. I would add Sonic. I would add Pac-Man.
Would you add Fire Emblem?
No.
It'd be a weird mashup.
That would be interesting if you use the capture button to take a photo in Fire Emblem. In Fatal Frame if they did a Switch version.
Yeah. That capture button, though, is supposed to get video support sometime down the line.
Supposedly.
Mario Maker on the Switch. I wouldn't play it, but I think it would be good. I think it'd be a hit.
I wouldn't like that. I would like. You already have it on 3DS. You already have it on the Wii U. Make an app for the Switch that costs like $10 or something, where you can download and play Super Mario Maker levels. You can't create levels, you don't have any of those tools, but you could download and play levels. I think that would be good
for a one-time fee. So you buy $10 to be able to download levels.
Yes.
So you're basically getting a custom Mario game for $10 that you pick.
More or less.
That wouldn't hurt.
It strips away the single player. It strips away the level creation, which is what a lot of people seem to be, that to me was the most important thing, is creating and sharing your levels. So, I think that would be fine. Maybe even $15 or something. But, I don't need the full game.
Any new rumors of news for E3 upcoming? Surprisingly, rumors have been pretty quiet.
Yeah, it's been pretty dry.
Hasn't there been like rumors of ports? From Call of Duty, isn't that a rumor right now? That Call of Duty would be coming to Switch.
I think it'll be there. I think they'll show it during Nintendo's presentation. I think they're going to show that in Madden.
Yeah.
I fully believe that.
I wonder if we're going to see any it can't all be great stuff. There's going to be those IPs which are a little bit we wouldn't miss them if they weren't there. And I'm wondering what those games are going to be, just out of pure curiosity. I saw someone in the chat say, do you expect to see Mario Party 11? That is a game that I wouldn't be excited for. And it's let's spend 5 minutes talking about Mario Party. Okay. No, unless they surprise us and actually do it good, I'm okay with that.
Let it die.
You reviewed the last two, didn't you?
The crappy one on the Wii U and the crappy one on the 3DS.
There's two on the 3DS. Which one?
The newer one. It's crap. Hated it.
Yeah.
Makes my skin crawl thinking about it. Star Rush.
I wonder if we're gonna see any kind of Mii game or something. Bring back Return of the Miis. A zombie game, but it's all with Miis.
There's so many good, decent scores for Star Rush. What did I give it? A 5 or something? I give it something really low.
Usually go in the 6. Ooh, a Nintendo Land would be. I would welcome a new Nintendo Land. A more in-depth Nintendo Land, so it doesn't even feel so much as a demo. I'd love it if you came up, have a little sim aspect to it. So instead of trading in your coins to just get random loot, so you walk into this almost abandoned carnival area, and you have to play games, get money to kind of revamp it, and you get to actually customize how you rebuild Nintendo Land as a theme park, and then you unlock more rides, but you also, I think that would be really cool. And then you integrate more of the online feature for us, so you can visit other people's parks and do something.
That'd be interesting.
There's a lot of potential in Nintendo Land too. Yeah, Jake's saying no more Mii's. That's why I think it'd be funny if you made a zombie game with Mii's, just showing that the Mii's are dead, you bring them back to life, and then you do something where you kill them or something.
Anything else? Final questions? It's time for my nap.
Metroid Amiibo Party.
Please stop.
We should have a segment of like terrible game ideas. I think we've done that before. We should do a new one.
Just do a new one.
Yeah.
Try to see who can make the worst.
Right.
I would call it a Sonic game with customizable Sonics. Oh, wait.
Where the main character is a customizable character and Sonic is a secondary character.
Oh, God.
I can't believe that. It was fine, like everything that you were teasing. That trailer that was released a while back where it says, and play as a new character or something. I'm like, no, stop it. Stop adding new characters.
I don't even think is that confirmed to be who the new character
is?
Oh,
yeah. That is the new character. It's yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's your dude. Yeah, there's a rumor about Destiny 2, but I think that was closed.
Well, the Destiny 2 thing came from a programmer, not Activision. So people are sort of holding, I could give a damn. I don't care about Destiny. The first one sucked. The second one's not going to be any better. Microtransactions to hell. It's already been downgraded for consoles. It can only run 30 frames per second.
Lee is asking Bayonetta for Switch. I would rather see another IP from Platinum Games. Like their games are, they have that flavor to them. Just bring a new Platinum game to the Switch. It doesn't have to be necessarily Bayonetta. I wouldn't mind seeing like a new Wonderful 101 kind of game, or that Dragon one.
The Wonderful 102.
The Wonderful Switch. Switch 1, 2. No, that's a terrible game.
I say make a new Mad World.
Is it possible Nintendo will receive Destiny on the Switch? I don't think so. I just don't see that development studio and Nintendo really. Like, they're at polar opposites of the spectrum. Have you heard of Code Vein that may possibly come to the Nintendo Switch? I have not. Have you?
It's a grueling action RPG from Bandai Namco.
Is there any new word on the Nintendo first-person game? What Nintendo first-person game?
You're a first-person game.
I live my life through the first-person view. It's crazy. I would love a new Beautiful Joe for. I haven't played Beautiful Joe, and I'm really curious to play it. So I would welcome that IP to come to the Switch. The Wonderful 201.
Oh, the Wonderful 102.
Could you see that if Platinum was handling Metroid? How would that look? That'd be crazy. Doing combos with Samus.
Would it though? I think it would. It would be just like when Tecmo did it, and people would be pissed because it's so different.
Maybe.
Like Other M.
At this point, never mind. I'm not going to open up that topic. Yes, Scalebound for Switch. That's what I meant by the Dragon game. Yeah, bring Scalebound to Switch. That'd be a funny surprise.
Well, Microsoft still owns the name of the IP.
Yeah.
Shadow of Eternal, I wouldn't hold your breath. Diak is a little crazy.
All right, so we are at, we're past the hour, 10 minutes past the hour, guys, so we're going to have to close it up for this week. But next week, we're going to be doing, check our social media accounts, because we're going to do things a little differently. We're either going to be doing more class versus class, actual streaming competitions, but we're probably also going to have a podcast depending on what kind of news we get through the week. So check out our social media to see what the details of that are going to be. We're probably going to be playing some ARMS, some Street Fighter, some Mario Kart, and divided up in Team Class, Team Crass, very much like we did with the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament a few weeks back. So yeah, lots of fun stuff to look forward to next week. Anything you want to add, Sean, before we sign off?
Keep playing indie.
You're so funny. Made a joke there. All right. See you guys next week. Until then, keep it classy.
Keep it crassy.
Oh, last note. Yeah. If you joined us after the intro, community message up top of the video. So if you are interested in buying Reverend's Wii U, get in touch with Sean or me, and we're going to get you in touch with the seller. So $500 for a Wii U and all that good stuff. Yeah, let us know if you're interested. All right. See you guys next week. Take care.
Bye.
You want to sing the ARMS theme? Is the outro?
No, cause I don't. You can.
I actually kind of forgot it.
You did good. Keep going.
It just goes like, I forget what beat it goes. I feel like I'm going to break into another song.
That's fine.
Yeah, I totally am in another song. Anyways, we got to prep for these sign-offs.